Alright, what's up guys? So, I talked about this in my old channel, and I'm going to talk about this on this channel. People force you to like life. People say, this life is beautiful. You can go out and make a lot of friends. You can have a romantic partner. You can go on vacation. You can witness technology advancing over and over in the future. You can try delicious food. All those things. But when you're complaining about this life, something that you can't change, like say, like people getting murdered out there, there's rapes out there, there's pedophiles trying to get with kids, people that are suffering through mental illnesses that aren't always success stories, and their mental illness gets worse and worse, like bipolar, schizophrenia, or all the mental illnesses. Or there's people out there that have cancer and suffering through heart disease, kidney failure, stroke, aneurysm, cardiac arrest, type 1 diabetes. And those are things that they can't change. It makes them feel worse, and it's not always reversible, and they just go through suffering and pain all day. And that's not worth enjoying, right? Like, people force you to like life when you've been abused by your parents and they weren't supportive, and they emotionally, physically, or sexually abuse you, or one or the other. And that affects you mentally, and that can make you feel very depressed. You feel like you are very insecure. You have very low self-esteem. You have a lot of self-pity, where you feel like you feel like you can't do it. You can't do this, and you could possibly can, but these hard times from your traumatic childhood with these abusive parents messed your brain up so much to the point where you won't be able to bounce back. And that happens, when, like, if you're aren't able to address your traumatic childhood out there to people, and it's ignored, it's going to get worse and worse, because they'll go to outlets that put them in a worse situation, like self-destructive behaviors, and they aren't doing it for self-control or anything like that. It's just making them worse, and causing more problems. Like, how can someone like life when no one seems to hear them out, You're entitled to not like this life, like I said in my old channel. And people just force you to like this life all the time. They'd say, oh, you could drive a car, or delicious food, and all that stuff I said before. And they act condescending to you when you just aren't liking this life, and you are explaining it to them, and they say, oh, if you don't like life, oh, you must be depressed. You gotta take some medication. Go seek help, Not everybody's super depressed when they don't like life either. It's just, they see the world how it is. They're aware, you know? There's a lot of problems in this world uh, that is chaotic, and it's, it just, like, as long as people are here in this world, there's gonna be all these problems, you know? And yeah, you can't have the good without the bad, but I feel like a lot of times in this world, there's a lot more bad than good, you know? People have bad intentions of others, and they want to use each other. They want to backstab others um, they want to backstab because they want to fit in or something, whatever it is. And like, how can someone like this life when things are unaffordable? It's hard to afford rent. It's hard to afford groceries, and trying to save money and do things that you would like to do, right? People will just like tell you to be grateful that you aren't in a worse situation. You're not homeless. You're not living in Africa or something, you know? Yeah, it is good to be grateful for the things that you have, you know? But a lot of times when you're just venting out, you're just telling people you don't like life, people will say that type of shit, and that'll piss you off, you know? And we'll talk about that in another video. But, yeah, people just force you to like it. Like, you never asked to be born. Like, you experience this life, you have your own perspective, you are aware of certain things in this world. You can say you don't like life. You shouldn't be forced to like life. Even if, like, you have good things that happened in your life, like, you could still not like it, you know? I know I experienced a lot of good things. You know, I traveled, I enjoy my hobbies, I have one friend I hang out with, and, like, I have good memories of some sort, but also I have a lot of bad memories. I have a lot of things that I don't like that affect my life to the point where it impacts me more than the good things. And I see that there's people that are going through worse things than me, and I can't imagine being in their shoes and what they go through and how they cope in this life, you know? So, yeah, people force you to like this life, and I feel like a lot of those people are just way too optimistic, and they keep spreading their toxic positivity down someone's throat, you know? It's ridiculous. Yeah, like, how can people just force you to like this life when there's so much bad stuff, you know? There's just a lot of corruption out there. There's a lot of um, just problems. That's all I can say. I mean, I can list everything on this channel in the future, but like, people will still force you to like it. People say, "Oh, you'll be remembered," and that's not true. You live this life and you do shit here, and then you just won't be remembered. That's it, you know? Yeah, people always be like this too. When someone's feeling down, say if someone's being realistic, they aren't being too depressed or very happy. They still don't like, you know, like life, and they'll still say that type of stuff all the time. you could just go through all this pain and suffering, and it just gets worse and worse and worse, and people will just still force you to like this life. You know, it just sounds sadistic to me when people are like that. Crazy. And I feel like a lot of those people that force you to like this life are bullies to me. They put you down when you tell them this, and it's almost like you're not allowed to have that opinion about this life. It's crazy. Like, yeah, someone could change their mind and they can like this life, but there's nothing wrong with someone saying they don't like this life when things just don't go well for them, you know? But that's it for this one. I'll catch you guys later.